hero.
Disco Monday.
That's right. We're not going to lay down some twerk, but we are going to do a little hustle.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea, episode 78, and we are getting down on this Monday night.
We're getting down to disco like it's 1978 again, my friends.
And after that elaborate opening, the new opening we got to our shows, thank you for joining us on the Facebook live stream, if you're joining us on YouTube, if you're joining us on Twitter or Instagram or wherever you found your podcast. We appreciate the support. And with me, as always, is Jason. What is up, dude?
Hey, Eddie, good to see you. Good to be back. Good to be here. Very, very excited to talk all this comic book goodness. But before we get into it, guys, Wonger's put me on a path a couple of weeks ago, and I've been treading the Sopranos path. So while Ed puts up the stuff for the show, I'm gonna serve a little help at a granny's old gabagool, you know. So Maron, this first season is crazy. People, I walk in expecting people getting whacked, expecting the Gandolfini to be a stereotype, but no, Gandolfini's got this nuance to his performance. It's fucking incredible. Guy's whacking it out of the park. All right. Highlights I gotta point out, Uncle Junior. I remember this from when I first was watching the show. Only episode of season one I saw Uncle Junior eating pussy, and I ain't talking big pussy, who I know gets whacked in one of the other seasons. We got his mother, my Maron, Vangu. His mother reminds me of my mother. It's crazy. It's crazy, the narcissism that runs through it, but I understand where he comes from. And let me tell you something, that first episode when Tony has that heart attack, where I think it's a heart attack, but it's really an anxiety attack. But when those ducks leave, mingots, it was all fucking chef's kiss, ma. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, I'm one season into the Sopranos, guys. Wonger's put me on this path, and I'm really enjoying it. You know what I'm going to say? I'm looking forward to watch Joey Pants kill that horse now. That's where I'm at here, because that literally is the only thing I remember of the show.
Wow, things have turned around in a week or so for you, man. You were traumatized by Joey Pants killing the horse, and now you're all in.
I'm all in. Look, I'm going to tell you something. I know it took me decades after everyone else to get into the show, but I'm going to say this. I'm happy I waited, because I am seeing a nuance to this show I would not have seen as a younger man. Okay. Like, there's a nuance of psychology, and I'm going to say this. I think a lot of people don't at least, look, it might change. I'm talking season one. But I think a lot of people don't understand the message of this show, because a lot of people walk away going, Tony Soprano's the man. I wish I was in the mob. And I'm watching this going, Tony Soprano's kind of telling us how shitty this is and how trapped he feels. Like, so, I don't know. I love that nuance. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect all the psychology. I'm really loving it. So, thanks, Wongers. I appreciate it.
All right. So Wongers put you on a new path from unhassling the Hoff, and now you have Sopranos replacing Baywatch Nights.
Yes, I have a much brighter path to tread. I had to look. I could be a zealot on some things, but even I had to give up on that Baywatch Nights, guys. I'm just gonna go to hell. I'm gonna go to German hell because I couldn't unhassle the Hoff, and I don't know. That's better, right? I mean, at least I don't have to watch Baywatch Nights season 2.
No, that's pretty fair, because you seem like you were really dreading it. You were going through a lot of pain there, man.
Because I was enjoying that first season so much. It's just like the trippy, crazy, like beach stuff that's happening. Aliens are there, serial killers, and then all of a sudden it gets so dark and X-Filesy. It's like, man, you've lost the fun, guys.
Yeah, no, I get it. It sounded like it, but I'm telling you, you went from enjoying and having fun to like dreading it every week.
I did, and now I'm walking a different path. I'm walking the path of what we're gonna call Granny's Gabagool, which we're gonna do
Oh,
every episode when I have some Sopranos to talk.
nice, nice. Let's get to two quick comments here from my boy Alex. Not gonna lie, I haven't watched She-Hulk episodes since episode 1. Is Daredevil in the show yet? No,
Wow.
he's not yet. But I would highly suggest you watch episodes 2, 3, 4, 5, and he could be appearing in episode 6. So maybe a little lost on the storyline of the season if you kind of decide to skip the middle episodes. I'm just throwing it out there. Any well-written show, you'll be lost.
Maron, now you got to go back. You got to watch from the beginning. You got to get from each. You got to get from Abomination, from the twerk. I got to stop that. But I'll definitely go back and watch it. It's worth a shot. Like if you just jump in on the Daredevil episode, I don't know how hard it would be to follow, but you'd be missing on a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and the show's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun, and the episodes are pretty short. I mean, they're actually all like a half an hour. So.
If that,
there's
22
that,
minutes for the most part.
Yeah, that sells you. And I'll start watching once Daredevil enters. Again, reinforcing, definitely want to start watching it way before Daredevil enters because I have a feeling you might be a little bit lost. I know I would be. I'd be like, what the hell is going on here? So, all right, let's jump into it then, as we normally do. We'll jump right into the CW Stargirl season 3 episode 3. We got the Crocs getting down tonight because that's kind of what our inspiration was for our opening song because that was the ending of this episode.
It was, and what a great episode! I'm gonna say like that. Just looking at that fight scene between Sylvester Starman and the Crocs,
that was awesome.
It's a great fight scene. Oh, really good. And I'm watching it. I almost texted you, but I'm like, I watched it today, so I was like, I'm gonna see you today. But I was like,
so did I.
Sylvester's on. Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Like, Sylvester's unhinged. Like he's not the good guy in that. Like he literally just rolls up on them while they're food shopping and says, the gambler was blackmailing you. Now I'm gonna take you in, and he just starts unloading on them. But yeah, wild episode. So it's all that pretty much. They find out the gambler was blackmailing the Crocs. We find out that Cindy, actually, who has the gambler's laptop, is sort of decrypting it piece by piece and getting a little bits and anonymously sending it to Dr. Midnight. Is that Beth's name? Beth Chapel? I forget the superhero name.
Yeah, Dr. Midnight.
So she gets it anonymously, brings it to the group, and Cindy pretty much right away, as soon as the group gets it, Courtney says, "Don't tell Sylvester he's a bit unhinged." And she goes, and Cindy tells Sylvester, who pretty much goes like, "Oh, you think I'm going to fight with you, daughter of Dragon, Dr. Dragon? Like, get the hell out of here. You're trash. Like, the Crocs are better than you." And then he proceeds to
really
go
lays into her, dude.
Oh, he laces into her so badly. Like, you can actually see a good actress moment. You can see her melt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like, dude, you're really yelling at like a high school girl right now. Like, really letting her have it. Granted, she has abilities and stuff like that, and is extreme and has been very evil at times.
Yes,
but still, really just like laying it on her there, and she looked like she was about to cry.
Absolutely. That comes up later where she's like, I want to tell him this, not to sell you guys out, but because I figured if he gave me his stamp of approval, he's Starman, you guys would accept me. And, well, he's a jerk.
Yeah. Do you think, I'll just throw it out there. Do you think, I'm on, you know what side I'm on with what happened to Starman? Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
What, that Starman killed Gambler?
No, I mean what happens at the end of the episode where we see, I think he's kind of just wounded. I don't think he's like dead or anything.
Oh yeah, no. I don't. Oh, right from the end. No, he's not dead. No, I don't think he's dead. I'm sorry. Yeah, so the end, he goes to the gambler's thing and something picks him up, some sort of force, right? Like I don't know, could have been aliens or weather or whatever, and it drops him and he gets all bloody. But No, I don't think he's dead, and I've been giving this a lot of thought because his character's doing something thematically in this season. Like it's all about second chances, right? And this is a superhero getting a second chance to be a good guy because he canonically admits he wasn't necessarily the best person when he was Starman, right?
Yeah,
and it
and
comes
I
down
think
to that murder that he's guilty of.
Yeah, there was the murder that the Shade pretty much led them to, and also they do tie back in this episode his treatment of Pat, and Pat like trying to like lets him know that, dude, I'm your friend. I'm not your sidekick.
Yeah.
Like,
Not your sidekick.
Enough with that crap. Like, you need to let that shit go.
Yeah, because Pat lands with Stripe and kind of is on the side of the Crocs, and he's like, Sylvester, you're out of line. Step down. And Sylvester gets in his face later. Yeah, like, you are my sidekick, not theirs. And he gets scary. And I appreciate that they are exploring the fact that this guy was in fact murdered by these very people who were trying to reform. And it's like, not the Shade, because I think the Shade, honestly, the Shade is clear. The Shade was helping them, and he blamed the Shade unfairly. But Sportsmaster, the Crocs, they were there when the ISA was killed.
Oh yeah, no, and that's the thing. I think as much as Starman's being a jerk in these couple of episodes, specifically to Pat at times, but he's acknowledging it. But I can kind of also see some of his point where he's angry because these are the people that wiped out my friends and me and left us for dead like 10 years ago. Like there needs to be some sort of like repercussions for this shit.
And I think that's why he keeps going unhinged. That's why he lost it with the Shade. That's why he lost it with the Crocs. I think he's dealing with like a PTSD because, again, he was killed. Like it's not like he got away. And no, he was murdered and brought back only because the staff happened to bring him back a decade after he was killed. So I think they're not done exploring that, what it means, redemption, what that looks like for a former hero yet. So he's definitely not dead.
Yeah, agreed. One of my favorite things in this episode was seeing more of we always forget her name, Mrs. Croc, and her baking.
Oh,
and
yes.
that whole thing.
Yes,
that was. I mean, it's hilarious. Her and Amy Smart play really well off each other with this.
I love that. I love this friendship. I love that it's become a friendship. Like, you know, what do they do with the Rotary Club? I don't know. Like, and well, I wish I could help you, but I have this thing with my boss, and her boss is being a prick. I forget her name, but the Stripes' wife. And her boss just keeps shooting everything she does down. And of course, you knew it was going to end as soon as Lady Croc sees that. You know how this is going to end. She just breaks into his office and she's like, we got to talk about a friend that you're going to be nicer to for me. And it's like, that guy's getting his ass handed to him.
Oh, for sure. You're probably staying in like a body cast or something next week.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's that, and I did want to say there's a cool scene. I love that. I love how protective Pat is of Courtney, right, as a stepdad, and I love that he pretty much puts Sylvester in his fucking place. Like, if you are here, you have to understand you're not just a friend hanging around. She thought you were her dad. She idolized you. Her dad's a piece of shit. And if you're going to be here, you are going to be the moral exemplar. Like, I paraphrase it, but that is the message. Yeah. He's like, I don't care if that's too much for you. That's the price of being here. And then when Sylvester says, well, what did you do to this guy when he left? He's like, I knocked his block off. And I kind of saw that was Pat, like, fuck around and find out, Sylvester. I am a dad, and I'm not your sidekick anymore. And I really did enjoy that moment because I do love that connection that Pat has with Courtney.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They really drill that home, and it's also Pat. There's a lot of Pat development by Pat in this episode where it's like he's standing up to Starman, letting him know they're equals. By the way, I want to see more of Stripe. That thing looks awesome.
Me too.
And I think that the CGI for like a CW show looks pretty sick. And they actually heard the voice when he tells Pat to stand down. I was like, that's pretty fucking intimidating. It was almost like Ed 209 like.
That's true, because usually we just hear like Pat like, could you stand down? Could you, because that's that guy, that's his voice, and he's awesome. But but you're right. Actually hearing the booming like stand down, that was intimidating.
Yeah, I want to see more. I'm pretty sure it's expensive, and that's probably why we don't get to see more of Stripe. But he's pretty badass.
And shout out to Zeke. I love that Zeke's just now part of Pat's like circle. Like he knows that he's Stripe. He knows Courtney's Stargirl. He's hanging out. Like he's chatting with Sylvester. Like that character has really grown on me.
So the other storyline I noticed that they picked up too was from last season was Isotope's kid.
Yes.
Kind of like and Courtney with their every last year it was very much like they're about to. And I think there's something going on there. They're about to kiss or something like that, and then something breaks it up. That's usually like, I need to go be Stargirl and go ahead and save the day. But in this episode, we see this kid. He clearly developed his powers. His grandparents have been teaching him because he goes ahead and throws a damn ice pick at what's his face's Our Man's car right in the tire. Gives him a flat tire after they get into an altercation at school,
which. I'm gonna say Our Man was not cool there. Our Man was really, I think he was at fault there, because that altercation, like, all right, the kid was being a dick to the teacher, and Our Man is like, hey, don't talk to her like that. And the kid's response is, you're right, I'm going through shit. I'm sorry. And Our Man's like, nah, dick. What are you gonna do, dick? He starts to bully him. I didn't like that. So like I kind of was like I was team Icicle Jr. here for like flattening his car, because I was like, Our Man, you gotta calm that shit down.
Yeah, I think he was like I agree. He made his point, like to back off, and it was like okay, but then he kept drilling it home, But I also kind of feel like he was looking for an excuse to he wants to get at this kid so badly, and just was looking for an excuse to do it. And yeah, that's what drove him into the wrong, right there. But then, and then Courtney eventually beats up with him later after she blows him off earlier in the episode. And it looks like she's trying to be all cutesy with him and stuff like that, and like trying to be flirty. And then he abruptly leaves. And is kind of like, I mean, I don't know. Or is he going to be like, it's just, their whole dynamic has been very weird.
It's been very strange. And I'm glad they picked it up and didn't forget about it from last season, but it's still kind of weird. Like, I hope they do something with it, because it kind of didn't go anywhere last season. But I am excited because his grandparents have been lurking. And, like, in particular, in the beginning of the episode, when Sylvester's kind of like being man about town and sort of finding quaintness and seeing if he can fit in, when he's drinking tea in the Shade's old diner that he hung out at, which is now they have the best tea in America, you see the grandparents lurking and like looking at him and plotting. So I kind of want to see what they're up to too, because I think that's a through line that I'm not saying was let go, but it's a through line they left open for a new story, and I think it's time.
I agree, because I even forgot about Icicle Jr. over there for a little while too. And so they showed like the previously on Stargirl, and I was like, oh shit, that's right.
Right.
They keep having these awkward like interruptions, and then I don't know, Courtney remembered it and was like, all right, I'm gonna go and try to rekindle this again after a while, and now we're here. So I do hope they pick it up and like get that storyline going a little bit more, because it seems like it's dragging on a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So,
all right, you got anything else on Stargirl?
That's it for Stargirl. Stargirl. And then we already touched it. Yeah, the cliffhanger of Sylvester. Is he dead? We don't think so. But yeah, again, solid ep. I think this is a solid show. I don't think I've been disappointed by any episode in these 3 seasons so far. So I hope it keeps going the way it's going.
Yeah, no, they seem to do a good job of keeping it tight. They don't drag on to 20-something episodes a season, which is why I think the show benefits from that. And there's a higher budget than some of the other CW shows. I don't know how the hell the CW decides that at this point, because this was a DC Universe show, and you could tell it looks better than like the Flash and stuff like that. So
right,
good stuff though.
Yeah, very good.
All right, let's keep moving on as we're going to say goodbye for a little while to Harley Quinn season 3 season finale that dropped this past Thursday on HBO Max.
I love this episode. I mean, we did call
a lot of stuff in this.
So all right, so pretty much we find out that Ivy's plan with the zombies made Lex Luthor shit his pants, literally.
Yes.
Which I think is the funniest reveal. And because of this, he offers Ivy to run the League of Doom. And Ivy is like, yeah, fuck you. All right, I'll do it. Sure. If I get a ton of money. And he's like, yeah, of course. That's part of it. All right. Well, no oversight. He's like, you're planning to shit my pants. I don't want to oversight you. I just want you to do things. Like, she pretty much gets everything she wants. And the only thing, carte blanche, exactly. And the only thing she has to do to earn this, and I fucking love this, is to kill Mayor Joker. And the reason that we find out that he says, I don't remember if he says it, but I know the Joker references it. But the whole reason is that as the mayor, the Joker has put a 0.5% evil layer tax. And Lex is pissed off about it. And the Joker argues when they're about to kill him that he's like, yes, but I'm using it to fund free education in Gotham U.
The things that they use to build... Liberal. Oh, Joker? Yeah.
I love it.
The things that they use in this show to stir up shit between the villains is absolutely priceless, man. Between Bane and the pasta maker for what went on most of the season.
So the whole episode is pretty much Harley. This episode is what I would call Birds of Prey 2, right? Because Birds of Prey is Harley going, wow, I'm an actual realized person outside of the Joker. And then she got into a relationship with Poison Ivy, and Harley loses herself in relationships. And this episode is kind of like, hey, I could actually still be a realized person and be in a relationship, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, like, they kind of, like, because they stay together, and Harley at the end of this is like, I don't want to be a bad guy anymore, and she goes and joins the Bat family, and Ivy goes and runs the League, and this is all brought forth. Yeah. Oh, of course, that's next season. But this is all brought forth because they kidnap and they're going to kill the Joker at the Thomas Wayne movie premiere. And the Joker, who is, of course, this now liberal Democrat stepdad, but he's also still the Joker and still pretty brilliant. And he fucking, like, gets into Ivy's head and gets her to see that she's doing to Harley exactly what the Joker was doing.
Yeah, that was something I honestly didn't fully see coming. That the Joker was going to pretty much mindfuck Poison Ivy there and just totally turn that whole thing on her head. Yeah, that was pretty good.
And it's so perfect. And just like let me ask you a question. When was the last time you saw Harley forget her bat? Because she forgets her bat and has to go back for it. And then sees Bruce Wayne. This is the B plot. Sees Bruce Wayne in the theater, and she's still his therapist, and she's still walking him through everything. And he goes and he sits and he watches the movie to face his trauma. And then at the end of it, and this was like a mind fuck to me. This was mind fucking the audience. The Joker goes, wait, I've got to Harley and Ivy. I have to get out there before the end of the movie. And then he does. And he's like, all right, Thomas, all right, Bruce Wayne, this was a trap for you. And you see like Joker goons pour in. And you think it's like, I thought like, oh my God, this is it. He's been this is the slow con. He's been laying this the whole season. And now he's going to unlay his Joker plan. No, he was, that's the JCPD. The GCPD now dressed like his goons. And they're arresting Bruce Wayne very honestly for tax evasion, which he admits to and goes to prison for. Did not see that coming at all.
No, I really didn't see that one coming at all. And I wonder if they're going to let that play out during season 4, and that's why while Harley's running around with the Bat family.
I think so.
Or is that just going to happen like off screen? Was it a way to like write Batman out for a little while?
I think I'm hope. This is what I hope. I don't know what they do. I can't get in the minds of these writers, but what I hope they do is they keep Batman or Bruce Wayne as Harley's patient in prison because that shit is gold. But it's also a reason to have Batman out of the picture. So, which is why Harley joins the Bat family at the end, because Batman's out of the picture and she wants to protect the Gotham with her friends. I mean, these people have become her friends. So, mistake to write him out, if that's their plan, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I could agree with that one. You definitely want to lean into that. I know how much you love when the writers of anything with Harley Quinn remembers that she's actually a licensed therapist.
It's my favorite thing in almost all of fandom, like comic book fandom, because so long we've just seen her as like the Joker's gangster girlfriend, or the girl who loses her identity. But we forget she was a fucking licensed psychiatrist before the Joker. Like I think it's fantastic to see played out, even in small ways, even like we've seen in just this show, like in ways where she just before the big thing with where she becomes Bruce Wayne's therapist. Like we've seen it in small ways where I was always been like, yeah, I can see her using that like that. So yeah, kudos to the writers for it.
Yeah, no, sure. But yeah, this with it being the season finale, they're going to be gone for a little while. So I know you're going to miss
sad. I am. I'm sad to see it go. I'm gonna miss Bane.
You got to find a way to keep them around. I'm sure they will.
Oh God, I fucking love that Bane so much. Like the whole ups and downs of the pasta maker this season. I even love like one of Ivy's rules for like if she takes over the League of Evil. It's like, I don't want to babysit Bane. Oh no, we'll put him somewhere else. I just love how everyone shits on Bane.
All right, we'll keep on rolling along. This is an interesting one for She-Hulk Attorney at Law for episode 5. This was probably the Marvel Studios show that I've taken the least notes for because I just don't think it was warranted. No, this specific episode. Now, I want to preface by saying I enjoyed the episode.
No.
I thought it was a fun episode.
Yeah.
I just don't think there was a lot of meat and potatoes to dissect here. Is just my point. I mean,
I agree with you.
Yeah. So, but I guess it being Hulk time, Tim did give us a heads up that he was going to be joining us. So, Tim is here for Hulk time, for Hulkamania.
Hey, yo, T, here, T, yo, grab some Gabagool. We're gonna be talking about the Hulk here, She-Hulk. It's a Hulk, but she's a chick. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you've been watching The Sopranos.
Yes,
I'm a season into it, and I'm fucking loving it.
If you watch more than 4 episodes in a row, that's how you talk for the rest of the day, guaranteed.
No, I did. I've watched 4 episodes today because I was up. Like my son's sick, I'm sick, my wife's sick. I was up till 4 a.m, so I had to call out from work. So like with the time I had this afternoon, I was just watching The Sopranos. So that's why I'm talking like it now. I can't let it go.
You can't shake it.
Like Silvio's impression of The Godfather 3 in my head forever. I'm gonna live with that forever.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, what do you think of She-Hulk this week?
Yeah, look, I'm enjoying it. I know what it is. I know what to expect. I know what the show's about, and I'm okay with that. But it needs to start. She needs to punch somebody. Something needs to happen. Like I get it. It's a rom-com Ally McBeal meets the Marvel Universe type thing, but she still is a She-Hulk. She needs to start punching something or someone. Or something must happen. I know we have a very special cameo coming up very soon, which we saw, which I'll let you guys bring up. But yeah, I mean, I said I'm enjoying the show, but it's yeah, we need something. We need something hulkish to happen.
Not enough with the fighting the demons last week.
It was all right. Again, it was funny. It was more funny than anything. I mean, she needs a serious. I'm not too serious. I know the show's not supposed to be serious, but she needs a serious like throwdown.
Okay.
To see what she can do.
Okay, that's fair. Be able to show off her Hulkness.
Exactly. So the other Hulk's gone, so we need something to represent.
Yeah, he's off doing potentially some pretty huge things, but we'll see if that happens. All right, so pretty much the basis of this episode is just that we picks up from last week where Jen was served papers. Pretty much Titania copyrighted the name She-Hulk, and it opens with this commercial She-Hulk, by Titania, and it's like a line of like beauty products and shit like that. So that's kind of what we're dealing with in the beginning, and then Jen's gonna go deal with it and goes to like some like a show that she's having to stop her. And there's a funny exchange I thought where Jen goes up to her to talk to her directly, and she kind of tells her to get lost. And then a fan wants to take a picture, but Jen takes the picture though. She's like, "No, I just it's okay, it's fine." It's Jen being who she is. One of my favorite storyline of this week though was Pug being a sneakerhead and knowing the drip broker and needs some help getting some Iron Man 3s because apparently Iron Man 3s are sneakers in the MCU. And it's limited to one per pair. Now, from someone who, is also into that kind of stuff, I would have also never line up for any of this shit. You just do it online. But I thought it was pretty damn funny that there's an Iron Man line of sneakers that's exclusive in the MCU. I really got a kick out of that.
I adore that, and I'm glad that they got to do something with Pug because I've kind of really enjoyed his character thus far, but it's one of those things that we never talk about him because he's never doing anything in the forefront. But I'm always like, oh, he's fun to watch. So actually, him getting this moment and with the drip broker and him introducing us to pretty much the person who makes all of the not all, but a person who makes like superhero outfits. I thought I was really happy to see him get a moment in this, and it was a fun moment. And him being a sneakerhead is great.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty great. Oh, okay. What?
Nah, that's what I looked at. I was like, what?
This might be some spy stuff.
We'll drop it on there though because it's just pretty random.
It's always in sunny.
It's 75 and cloudy here in New York City.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, depends on where you're watching from. But thank you for watching nonetheless. Yeah, so then the whole thing is they go through they're trying to find they got the drip broker goes ahead and sends them to a person who makes superhero outfits because everyone's very concerned about She-Hulk's attire. And I thought there was also a really funny thing that was dropped in there where her lawyer goes ahead and is pretty much saying, listen, I don't need you dressing like you're going to be an NFL player or professional football player pleading for, like a speeding ticket or whatever the hell it was. I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That's the chick from Hamilton who I really like. I liked her a lot. And the guy who, would you say his name? What's his name? Pug? What do they call him? Pug?
Pug. I think it's Puglisi.
He was on a show with Dennis Leary that got canceled. He was fantastic on that show. So I really liked him, and I'm glad he joined the MCU because he's a good actor and he's real funny. So and the lawyer too, I really like too. She's a pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, her a lot too. Like an everyday. It's Ally McBeal, dude. It's just a regular lawyer show. It's I mean it's funny now, but you can't. I don't want 2 seasons of this. Of just her fighting her own cases and having to go to court and defend herself for stupid things. Eventually, you got to fight. You got to fight something eventually.
No, I think she will. But Pug going ahead and going through the drip broker and stuff. They go to this what looks to be a boba shop, and it's pretty much a front for what they're like. Yeah, give us the superhero stuff, and they take him behind the scenes. They eventually find out it's bootleg Avengers.
The Avengers
and the Avengers with like an
Avengers.
eye.
Yes.
That was great. They have to put those shirts out, dude. I would love to get an Avengers shirt.
Well, wait till
And
the
by
Iron
the
Man
way,
3s come out. I know you're gonna get them.
Oh, I would totally be all about the Iron Man 3s.
That means Disney just made it canon for them to make bootleg MCU merchandise under their own brand. Think about that. They now
true.
can just sell bootleg merchandise under their own brand and make a ton of money off it. Like, I don't know, man. I should have been born at Disney. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Well, what if Iron Man 3s are based on Iron Man 3? That's an interesting shoe to make.
I think if they based it on the suit, I would go ahead and I would like it, though, because it wouldn't have anything to do with the bait and switch that drives me nuts in that movie. Got Javelin
We'll
Vinsky
get to it.
dropping in a comment. I thought this episode was one of the funniest, in my opinion. Great skip. Yeah, no, dude. I thought it was actually really funny.
100%.
Just not a lot of deep diving to doing it. It's just kind of my thing. So it's not a knock towards it, just kind of like explaining overall. That was pretty. It was kind of basic, but very funny.
I loved the way that she establishes, because she is, the whole thing is like she's suing. She has to sue to keep her name She-Hulk, even though she kind of is on the fence of whether she wants it, and has said 100,000 times she doesn't. And I love the way that she wins it is, I set up a dating profile of She-Hulk and went on a string of shitty dates. Let's just get my shitty dates in here to embarrass me. And even the comment at the end, like, well, I didn't think we'd win like that. And Jen's like, well, if you ever need someone to embarrass himself for a win, here I am. Like, I love that part of that character. Like, she just no shame whatsoever about anything.
Yeah, no, Jen Walters is really the whole dynamic between the two is really funny. Granted, they are the same persona,
Yes,
all the time, but the public wants her as She-Hulk, and they keep on like dumping on her because the guy does it again.
He does. And I would look, you knew I was going to have to talk about this again. Get the fuck out of here that it's such a horrible thing to go to sleep with She-Hulk next to you and wake up cuddling Jen Walters. Get out of here. We're talking like this woman's a fucking troll, and she's not. She's a very attractive woman. Just stop it. Just let's stop pretending that there's something wrong physically with this woman, all right?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of strange that they're going that route with it, but I guess it's more
in a way, it's like a metaphor for like you meet a chick at a club when she's fully dressed with the makeup and everything. You wake up next to her and she doesn't look like that. It's almost kind of like that kind of metaphor to make us look like jerk-offs, because
sure.
Most men are, I guess, in that way. It's like, oh, you were a lot hotter last night at the club. What the hell are you looking at? What am I looking at now? That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point.
We'll get to two more quick comments here. We got some from YouTube. Well, you want to, Glenn? I appreciate you want to talk about the twerk. We did when it happened a couple episodes ago. We were fans of it because whatever, dude, it's fun. That's why that's what the show. That's what the show is for. So there's been a lot of crazier things that we elaborated on further. She-Hulk has done way crazier shit in the comics than twerk with Megan Thee Stallion. So,
look, I didn't know that was a real person until that show. So, kudos to the MCU for telling me that Megan Thee Stallion was an actual person. I'm an old man. So
I'd ask my wife. I'm in the same boat, Tim. I'd ask my wife, what's a Reg? I'm like, Reg, Megan Thee Stallion, is that someone you know, or is that an MCU character I should know? And she's like, no. And she told me what song she did, and I went, all right, I'm old. Leave me alone.
But the fact that they wrote it, what we talked about on the episode was, we did love the fact that it was written in for Tatiana because she's a huge fan. So they're like, screw it, we're going to go ahead and we'll surprise her and do this whole thing. She like lost her shit and stuff like that. So I thought that was actually a really cool thing that they did. But the big reveal, though, of this episode was pretty much the last frame when we find out that there is someone else who's getting a suit at this time, because She-Hulk goes to get her suit. Looks like it's going to be some sort of like, I guess it's probably what we see in the ads where she has that like onesie that's kind of like purple and white, and it looks like something she would wear in a comic that pretty much is her purple pants when she changes and stuff like that doesn't rip, and so it actually makes sense because they had to make it out of a special fabric. I thought that was cool. So we don't see it, but in a box on the side, we see a yellow Daredevil helmet that is obviously supposed to be more discreet and put away. So you would gotta assume we're gonna get some Matt Murdock action in episode 6, right around the corner.
And I'm very excited about that. I want to see: are they going to ship that to New York, or is he coming to LA? That's the main thing I was thinking about, because she is West Coast.
Well, Tim, no, that's actually a great point, because he's.
I was thinking that logistic too.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that too. Like,
happy.
Is he coming specifically here to get the costume because of this person, or is he happen to just be here? Like, I want to know why he's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped, dude. I'm pumped with the gold and red, not just the regular red. I can't wait. I can't wait for him to show up.
Yeah. So, Tim, I don't know if you saw it, but I know Jason and we had discussed this so we did find out, Charlie Cox did say that Daredevil Born Again is a reboot of Daredevil. This is not the Netflix Daredevil. It's been like confirmed now. So, I mean, he still should be in New York, obviously. And we've seen this Matt Murdock in New York. But they also had announced earlier today that the guy who played Foggy Nelson, he will also be back in Daredevil Born Again, which I'm got to assume Karen Page is right around the corner as well, and they'll end up bringing back most of the cast.
But do the rest of them follow?
They were a good cast.
What was that, Tim?
The rest of them follow. Are we going to see Luke Cage and all that crowd? Are they all going to be rebooted too, or?
Yeah, my guess is if you're going to reboot Daredevil, I think you're going to end up, if you're going to keep what you like and get rid of what you don't like. So, which means we probably won't see, we'll see a new Danny Rand at some point. We won't see the same one, and they'll keep who they want to keep, and they can just do whatever they want. I'm sure most people are going to be excited for it. I was somewhat okay with his portrayal. I just thought when you find out about him not training for fight scenes, get lost. You're supposed to be fucking Iron Fist, dude. Like, what are we doing here?
Exactly.
So,
and you guys know I am just waiting for Jessica Jones to be brought over. You give me Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones. You reboot it so you can cast David Tennant as Kilgrave again and give me another season with David Tennant as Kilgrave. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I would like to see that again.
I would still say he was the most terrifying villain that we've seen in a long time. He was terrifying.
He really was. He was scary.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Him and Kingpin out of that whole Netflix thing, I absolutely loved. And Bullseye was also highly under. And I know, Jason, you haven't gotten to Bullseye yet. You should definitely watch that.
I know. I gotta go.
You have to.
I think I'm gonna go back and watch all of these. Like, I think I'm gonna go back from Daredevil 1 at some point and rewatch them all.
Yeah. All right, so then we'll see what happens with She-Hulk next week, and that brings us to our movie of the week.
Hey, real quick though, I didn't know it. I only spotted it because of the internet. There was another guy picking up a costume in the background. Did you notice that? The first time they went to see the drip guy, whatever, there was a blonde-headed guy picking up a suit, and then if you look in the background, he made like a right that went the wrong way, and then he goes out the other wrong way, so he's kind of like a little idiot.
Yeah.
He is shit. All right, I'm ruining it now because I forgot the name already. He is Leapfrog.
I did not notice that.
Dude, internet. It popped up as a but Leapfrog is not the name from the comic. He has a different name, but they're gonna call him Leapfrog because the actor who plays him confirmed that he's gonna be Leapfrog.
Okay.
Probably another B-list superhero, C-list superhero popping up in the MCU now.
I'm
here for
so,
it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny that this guy popped up there.
And I did want to share this. Walter did some research for me, and apparently that there is a character in the MCU that has had a comic written, not MCU, in Marvel Comics rather, I'm sorry, that has had a comic written about him where he is just like the person who makes superhero and supervillain like armor and stuff. And apparently his store is like, you go in there and there's no beef ever. Like, it doesn't matter if you hate each other, you're just there to shop. And he showed me a couple of panels, and one of them my boy Doom shops there. He shows up with his cape, and he's like, "I've singed my cape. Fix this."
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought Doom
So
would
I
have
want to
one
bring
of
that
his
up, too.
Doom bots conjure up something for
Well,
him.
that's what I thought. I was like, that's big praise that he's going all the way to the United States to visit this guy to get his like costume fixed. The man runs a country. The man has his own technology. The man is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme.
Jason, I really can't wait until there's like when we go down our Fantastic Four run, and you get to talk about Doctor Doom each week, good and bad.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna be reading a lot of comics around that time, so I can bring some good stuff in because those Doom and those movies are shit.
Doom Chef. Never forget Doom Chef.
That Chef, God, I didn't even consider that a movie.
No, that's a shit show.
Oh, but it's one you're gonna have to watch again for the sake of this thing. So it's gonna be interesting to see that.
Joy.
I saw 2 minutes of it the other day when I was clicking around, and then I just went on with my day.
I did too. I fell asleep. I woke up. That was on. I got highly offended by myself.
Oh my god!
I was like, "How dare you fall asleep and wake up to the fucking movie?"
You should have knocked yourself out.
I should have stayed asleep. Damn it! I was mad at myself.
Punching yourself in the face. Did I tell you guys how I saw this movie and I consider it seen completely? Is I was on a plane and I put it on and I watched the first 20 minutes and passed out and woke up and I saw the last 15 minutes and I went, I've seen this movie now. I don't ever have to revisit it again. That was before
Damn
I
well
knew
you're
was
seeing
doing
it.
this podcast.
I sat in a theater and watched this shit.
I watched an online bootleg and I still hated myself for it.
I've told the story. I paid 75 cents to see that movie, and I debated it if I should pay the 75 cents, but I still went in anyway.
Ripped off.
And it was 4 other people in that theater with me.
And he demanded his 75 cents back when he left.
No, dude, I went and I was the guy's like, because it was supposed to be a free Regal thing from the Crown Club, and the guy's like, well, it's a new movie. I'm gonna have to charge you 75 cents. And I sat there and I thought about it. I pondered this for like about a minute. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. And then when I gave the guy the ticket, this tells you how long it was. The guy looked at it. He was like, so the ticket came back to me. I shit you not. That's how it happened. I shit you not.
So
this was at the Midway.
Oh, shit, you poor fucker. I'm so sorry.
And during that movie, I genuinely felt bad for the people in the theater because there was 4 people in there with me. And then I started feeling weird. I started feeling bad for the actors that were in the movie. It was a very strange experience.
Yeah.
It's like you're all very talented. Why? Why did you say yes to this pile of shit? Yeah. Miles Teller is one of my favorite actors. I can't watch him in that.
Dude, he's great. I fucking loved him in Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, so did I. But I like him all around. I think he's a great actor. Period.
Yeah,
even in the fucking Footloose remake, he's great. And it was like
even Michael B. Jordan couldn't save this movie. Like Michael B. Jordan also great in it, right? But nothing could save Fan Four Stick. Nothing.
That's gonna be so much fun.
Oh god, yeah, joy. Look, I might need to do another shot, and I've only done that in one movie, my friend, and that was The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, I think we're definitely getting a fuck you movie out of you for that one. There's no question.
You get a fuck you movie right now from me. Imagine if I've just seen it.
Imagine when you see the entire running time.
God, because it's like 2 hours, right? 2.5 hours. It's long.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have to like look into details and take notes and things like that. How awful is that gonna be?
God. Oh God.
All right. Well, let's get on to our movie of this week.
Someone else's problem. Yes.
So we have completed the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno trilogy of TV movies. You know, we started with Return of the Incredible Hulk, Trial of the Incredible Hulk, and now Death of the Incredible Hulk, which we had to go through. Props to Jason from Walter. Shout out to Walter for finding a way to get this to us because it doesn't fucking exist unless you want to pay $65 for the friggin' DVD, and that is not happening.
And I'm going to say that luckily Walter is someone who people in this house were very, very big on taping VHS tapes because we want to stress that Walter got this to us legally. And so it was that he just happened to have this on VHS from back in the day and passed it my way. I watched a bit of VHS, passed it Ed's way, watched a bit of VHS. So just want to say we got this legally and copacetically, my friends.
Yes, thankfully I saved my VHS and I have it in my living room still. And I watched it and had I had to do the tracking a little bit to clear it up, but I mean, it definitely played through. Yeah, clear that. So this movie sucks.
Oh, it's a piece of shit.
I'm just gonna bury the fucking lead on this
piece of shit.
This is a huge pile of shit because, and this is the thing, rating it on, and I say that basing it on comparison, like of our TV movie from 1990. This came out a year after Tim Burton's Batman was in theaters. Okay, just to let that. This came out after the Trial of the Incredible Hulk. 2 years after the return of the Incredible Hulk.
I'm going to stop you right there, Ed. I'm not even going to say Batman 89. Fuck that. That was Tim Burton. That was big budget. This was made for TV. I'm not going to compare these two, right? This came out 2 years after the Trial of the Incredible Hulk. Full fucking stop. Because the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, though cheesy and cheap and whatever problems we might have had with it, we all had fun with it. It was a romp. We had like a solid, fun Daredevil. We had some interesting Hulk shit going on. We had the Kingpin. It was a shitty Kingpin, but we had him. He was there. That was fun to watch. I remember texting you guys going, I'd watch the shit of this Daredevil show that they're like pitching for. Man, I watched this, and I did two things. One, I texted you going, this is boring as shit. That's the first thing I did. And that was 20 minutes in. And then 40 minutes in, I went, Gabagool, I got to stop this shit and watch The Sopranos. I'll fix it, I'll finish it tomorrow. And I literally just put it on hold and watched The Sopranos because I could not watch this hour and a half in one sitting. I would have fallen asleep.
So I was actually watching this I watched the first 35 minutes on the flight back from Milwaukee this morning. And then the internet just went, Wi-Fi. I was shocked it kept on going that long. So then I finished the last hour when I got home. And it was rough. I was texting Jason during it. I was looking for things to do during this. You're right. It commits the cardinal sin that we've talked about on this show plenty of times. If you're just boring, that's the worst thing you can do. You can suck and just be a really failed attempt. At least you tried. This shit is boring as hell, and I cannot believe this was the way you wanted to end this. No, this is how the legendary Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby Hulk end runs with this. That's like one of the biggest crimes. It's this.
With
Tim,
this, yes. Yeah, you're right. Tim.
I want to get to Tim because Tim, number one, start off. When was the last time you saw this in its entirety?
It wasn't that long ago, actually, because
really
it popped up on Amazon Prime not so long ago.
Okay, so it just got cut off there.
But it was one of those weird things where that one was free, but the other two you had to pay for. And I'm like, are you shitting me? How is this one free? Well, I guess that makes sense. Because this one sucked. Like, dude, just watch this for free. Because this one sucked. And I did not get through the whole thing. Because, like you said, it was boring as shit.
You tapped out.
Yeah, because the way I said it was disrespectful.
Yeah.
It was disrespectful because, like I said, no matter what you think, people now are going to watch that show and be like, wow, this is fucking terrible. Yeah, because you're spoiled because you have the MCU, you have fucking, the Justice League in black and white fucking hanging out each other. You have all this cool shit now. That's all we had back in the day. We had fucking fake Spider-Man and fucking Lou Ferrigno. That's all we had. So you know what? It was very disappointing, like you said, to go out on this movie because it was boring as shit. And we'll get to the end because, let's face it. No. Let's say no. No.
Yeah, we got to talk about the end. Maybe not now, but we definitely have to talk about the end because that's what the fuck, guys. That's how the Incredible Hulk dies. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. All right, so let's start off with like the main issue with this, right? So, Jason, I know you wanted to highlight this. So, David Banner is. Every time we catch up with him in these movies, we know he's in a new town and he's got a new disguise. And won't change his first name from David. It has to be something that starts with a B, and he does it again. But he takes his disguise to another level.
Yeah, like, and this, I actually texted Ed, like, I think this is the reason this movie was so hard to find, because literally for the first, I have it written down, for the first 22 or 21 minutes of it, David Banner, not Bruce, because that would be gay, I'm sorry, heterosexual David Banner, is pretending to be, like, mentally handicapped. He's pretending to be, he's working, he's working, like sweeping floors and shit at like a nuclear test site or whatever, like a lab, random lab.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching it, another lab, and I'm watching it, and everyone's going, "Well, hello, David. How are you today? I've made carrot cake. Put this in your pocket." And I'm literally thinking, like, did something happen where he kind of like got lost part of his brain function and he's slow now? And then I'm like, wait, is he pretending to be slow? And then literally you do that for 20 minutes. And I'm not even sure, even with the elaborate fucking mugging that we were talking about, with which I'm going to say this right now.
We'll get to that in a
Anyone
second.
who's
That's
looking
insane.
to get into crime, and you need 3 people to mug like someone who's mentally handicapped, that's not a 3-person job, my dude. Mugging anyone is not a 3-person job. All right, you don't need props. You don't need fucking, anyway. Doesn't matter. 20 minutes into it, we find out he's doing his like Forrest Gump thing. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as Forrest Gump, but he is kind of putting on an affectation. And then all of a sudden he's like, he Kaiser Soze's it. He's like, phew, now I'm at the computer and I'm doing David Banner shit. And it's like, this is really confusing. And why did he need to spend 20 minutes of this movie pretending to be this? Like, it made no sense to me.
Yeah, I thought it was a really weird choice because it doesn't make any damn sense. I mean, the guy's pretending essentially to be like a porter and to, he's cleaning up. Tim, you're a porter. People giving you carrot cake and stuff, like, what's going on here? Like, what the hell is this, man?
Are you saying I'm slow, Ed? Am I slow?
No, not at all, man. I'm just like, I just want to know, like, why the carrot cake? Why the movies and popcorn? And, like, what is going on? Because I actually didn't pick. If Jason didn't tell me that, I wouldn't have caught on to that was part of his disguise at all. I was just watching. I'm like, wait. What?
Yeah, did fucking Bill Bixby think us porters are all slow? Also, I was like, why?
Yeah, what are you doing?
He could have just been a cleaner, a janitor, a porter, whatever.
Right.
Why the slow bit? Maybe because I am so smart that people will realize it, so I have to play real stupid as my disguise. But it makes no sense because no one knows who the fuck you are anyway. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a stupid choice that they make.
I'm gonna go to work tomorrow and demand carrot cake. I'm gonna demand carrot cake tomorrow at work.
Do it.
Yeah, so
one of you fuckers owes me carrot cake.
And you work, and there's a movie theater, so you go and like movies and popcorn and whatever. Like, this is a weird thing that's being sent to him. I'm like, what is going on here, man? What the hell are we watching now?
Tim, only because you've met Mark Hamill several times and he's the nicest guy in the world, I picture you pulling this bit about carrot cake and Mark Hamill seeing you and going, "Oh, look at that nice man. I'm going to give him some carrot cake. Here you go, sir."
Then I would go with the actor and I'd be like, "Oh yes, thank you."
I love carrot cake.
My name's David Banner.
My name is David Brenner.
Yes.
This week.
David Brenner. This is long as you
David
call me Bruce,
next week.
Gay.
Bruner. Dude, the first thing I heard about that is that he changed his name because Bruce was gay. I'm like, dude, Bruce Lee, one of the baddest men who ever lived, and you're gonna call that dude gay?
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
What
the fuck are you talking about?
I have a serious question for you guys now, though, because I kind of have a different opinion of it. Because in this episode, we actually get to see him get it on with a lady, right? And I was watching him get it on with a lady, and I was thinking, like, I don't know, man. If his name was Bruce, I'd be like, this Fagel ain't getting on with a lady, right? What? Wow, bada bing, bada boom. Oh. I mean, yeah, you got to change his name. Because name me one Bruce who's ever had heterosexual sex outside of Bruce Lee and Bruce Springsteen and every other heterosexual Bruce, I guess. But, like, I don't know, man. David David. I don't know. It's the last time I get to rail against this. It's the stupidest thing ever. So thank you for the indulgence.
David's getting laid more than bruises. That's all they're trying to say.
That's what I'm saying.
This is true. So then, then after he goes to like cash his check or whatever it is, then we get the robbery. They try to mug him. 3-person job. They elaborate thing where he's in an alley and they force like David. They trick him into chasing him down the alley. We all know what's coming. We know someone's gonna fuck with this guy because everyone just fucks with him. And then, he goes in this like warehouse thing, and it closes. The door is closed. They have this whole setup just to mug some guy. Like this is what they do. And then of course we get the eyes, which are white now, which I don't understand why in the movies they're white suddenly.
And then you even get the argument between the people. Like like the guy who was the ruse, he's like, "Oh, I get a third of a share. I was the ruse," and the other 2 actual muggers are like, "Nah, you won't get shit. You just brought him here." It's like, dude, the money it must have cost to set this theater of mugging up. How many people do you need to lure here to actually make your money back to break even in this arena of mugging?
Theater of mugging. I like that because it's like like an elaborate stage show, just to mug some slow janitor of his paycheck.
Right. And that's the thing too. In their eyes, this is a slow janitor who just got a paycheck. Like this guy literally could have went, "Hey, my guy, bang, grab, and run." Like what was getting him in this whole place? I don't understand it.
Or he could have gave him another pastry of a different flavor and took his paycheck in return.
That's right.
Maybe.
Here's some banana bread.
Dude, they would have took my paycheck for banana bread. I fucking love banana bread.
Banana bread's awesome.
It is. So yeah, then we get this whole weird thing that's going on with this woman who, like, I kind of got. She was like a fake Natasha Romanoff that goes throughout the movie. She's like a master of disguise, but not really, because she doesn't really change too much, and she's constantly flipping around. I don't know. I thought it was a fake Black Widow, and I came to this conclusion that the only reason that we get the Banner, Natasha Romanoff, and Age of Ultron, the relationship there, is because they saw this movie. They remember this as a child, and they were like, "This is what it needs to be. This is how I remember it." No,
I know. I can see it. I can
okay.
Look. I admit to you guys that I can't accept anyone outside of Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk because he's the only one that reminds me of Bill Bixby. I mean, I don't think that's any crazier than what you just said. So I completely think that's where we got that.
Josh Whedon loved this movie as a child and decided to run with it and bring it completely back.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're right.
100%. 100%.
David gets with this chick completely out of nowhere. It's not built up at all. I also realized something, too, watching this thing and watching these 3 movies. David gets attached to people and cares about them deeply very fast. Because even the old guy, yes, the old guy he meets in this movie, the other scientist, he just met the guy. And he loves him, and he's in a coma, and he tells him this whole story to wake him up, and he needs him to be in this world to make it a better place and everything. David, what do we do? What do you do? You get attached.
Yeah.
As a great man once said in Iron Man 2, learn to let things, don't get too attached. Let things go. I want my bird.
So Yoda say that. Yoda said that too.
Yes. I want my bird.
I want my bird.
This is why he's the lonely man, because he gets too attached, and then he has to, separate. And
he's
every
not the
time
lonely
he goes
man,
into town,
though.
he gets more attached.
That's the whole point. Even though Ed Norton went into the woods, and Mark Ruffalo ran to Calcutta. This dude's just walking up into fucking small Midwestern towns and destroying them every fucking week. Hide somewhere. Hide somewhere, Bruce.
And that's another thing,
very
too.
good point.
A huge knock against this movie is the fact that the 3 times that we get to see the Hulk, it's like, dude, if you ever wanted to see the Hulk do shit that you never wanted to see him do, this is the movie for you. He's jogging upstairs at one point, running. Yeah. It's like Benny Hill. He runs from the security, then they're chasing him the other way. I'm like, he's chasing them. What is going on? I was waiting for
And when the fuck did you ever see
Yakety
Hulk
sacks.
run upstairs? The dude can leap 3 miles, and he's fucking walking upstairs. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
wasn't
that
buying a lot of it at all.
The most interesting thing they did with the Hulk in this, because you're right, they do nothing interesting with the Hulk. Like I think at some point, like they try to kill him like in his car, right? And he gets out and rips a whole bunch of cars, which might be the most interesting Hulk attack scene, but it's not very interesting. Most interesting they do with him though is when Bruce is too gay. David sees the Hulk for the first time on video and goes,
yeah.
Shit, is that what it looks like? Like that's actually the most interesting part of the movie for me. And it's kind of just brushed over, you know?
By far.
Yeah, it's true.
I guess let's jump right to the ending because there's really nothing interesting to me that happens at all.
Well, I do want to talk about this just because it lays further ground that this is a Black Widow type character, even though it's not. Like she is tapped by Secret Service of a vaguely foreign country that has a Russian accent, right? That's not saying. Yeah. There's a whole thing where they pretend to have her sister and they're going to kill her, but no, her sister's the real head of the whole organization, which kind of like had Black Widow like vibes for me, at least, like as stupid as it was. And then like just I don't know, there was a couple of things within like the organization where the henchman who's Andreas Katsoulis, who was in Babylon 5 and in a lot of interesting like Star Trek episodes, like he's a big sci-fi actor. Where that guy's like, well, you want me to do it or you can do it yourself? Who's the leader here? Talking about killing the sister. So none of that stuff worked for me, but I think it all goes into pointing to the fact that I really do believe that they meant this to be the Black Widow and just didn't have the licensing to call her Black Widow.
Yeah, they might, or they just were too lazy to do it and decided because we were talking before. Is that there was there's rumors that there was going to be a She-Hulk appearance in this, and that got written out. Then it was talk of Iron Man, that he was going to be involved. That disappeared. Everything just kept disappearing from this damn movie. But the ending of the movie, so the death of the Incredible Hulk, which at the runtime, I'm seeing there's 5 minutes left on this thing, and I'm like, wait a second. I was trying to remember how the fuck they killed him. I'm like, oh yes, that's right. Here we go. So he goes up and he's in this plane and he's trying to track down these people, and then they end up shooting in the plane and there's an explosion, and then we get Lou Ferrigno Hulk. Like that with some flashing lights behind him. That's exactly what it looked like to me. I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Worst effects ever.
It was
and he falls so
bad.
Slow. It's like 20 minutes of falling.
And then he falls out of a plane. He crashes on some concrete. Obviously, damage is done. And he turns back into David. And then they try to like, oh, we can save you. It's like, oh, I can free you. The old man tells him, he's like, no, I'm free now. And then he just dies. That's it. Exploding plane falls out of it. This is the fucking Hulk. This is world-breaking Hulk. This is bulletproof. This is... Dude, it's the fucking Hulk. That was sad, dude. That was really, really bad, man.
Yeah, I wasn't sad that he died. I was sad that that's how he died.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, what the fuck just happened?
The only rightful death that this movie must have intended was, we're going to kill this so no one ever wants to make another one again. Yeah. We're going to fucking end this thing. That was the real death of the Incredible Hulk in this.
The actual original title was The Death of the Incredible Hulk franchise, but they dropped the franchise because they thought it sent the wrong message.
Yeah. Even though we did learn, we did learn that 4 years later, there was rumors of there was going to be the revenge of the Incredible Hulk, and it was going to be a whole elaborate thing, but that never happened because there's a lot of stuff we've gotten. There was the poor ratings for this, and then it was also Bill Bixby getting sick, and then, obviously that wasn't going to be able to work then. But I think it's a really bad way and a sour taste in a lot of fans' mouths to have to end this Hulk. I mean, this is the weakest Hulk by far. I mean, even Ang Lee Hulk was like as goofy as he looked, was way stronger than this. I am not saying I would watch that shit over this. I've watched this over that still.
Well, here's the thing. But no. But here's the thing. If we even the playing field, if you told me that I had to watch, I could either watch this movie or I could watch an hour and a half of Ang Lee Hulk, and I didn't have to sit in for the whole 2.5. I'd watch a choice hour and a half of Ang Lee over this whole movie.
Ooh.
Not because it's good, because I talked about how much I didn't like it, but it's something happens. This is so boring. Like, as I said, I got 40 minutes in, and I want to say that for me to be 40 minutes into anything that I know that I have to watch, and to go, I'm going to table this for tomorrow, that's a big disrespect to what I'm watching, because at certain parts of the night, it takes very little to capture my interest. You know, I just need to, like, I know what I'm getting into. I know I'm getting into a fucking stupid Hulk movie. Like, it didn't happen with the other 2 Hulk movies, and I knew I was getting into stupid Hulk movies, right? But they were fun. This was boring, and the smack in the face, Ed, of that death scene. And I'm going to say that's it. I remembered that. I remember that image of the Hulk lying on the floor with the beam of light on him with the cracked cement. It's the only thing I remember from this. So I did see it as a kid, though I probably slept through most of it. But I'm going to say that, like, the fact that that's how you kill the Hulk, you drop him from a plane. The Hulk, as you said, he can survive anything. It's like you could have literally done Death of the Incredible Hulk because we cure Bruce Banner. You didn't have to be so fucking bleak and give us, I'm finally free. It's like, no, dude, Bruce Banner's not suicidal, because if he was, and it was this easy to kill yourself in the Hulk, he would have killed himself already. So not only is it stupid, it makes no sense to the character that 4 years plus 3 movies have set up.
Yeah. No, it's well put. Because it really, he could have jumped out of the Kingpin's tower if he really wanted to, or something like that.
Right. If death was his sweet release, but I thought the whole point was to get rid of this. So Death of the Incredible Hulk should have been him cured, and that's Death of the Incredible Hulk, right? We're not going to get him anymore. But then it would have opened up the avenue for him to come back, because who knows? I don't know. Maybe She-Hulk gives him blood. Who fucking cares, right? It's the magic of TV. But it's like, the fact that they were planning another movie after this, and this is how they ended it, it seems even more of a smack in the face.
Yeah, or like we had said, maybe fans complained and they realized how stupid it was after they shot it, and they're like, we can't let him go out like this, dude. Fuck this. Revenge of the Incredible Hulk. He will avenge his stupid death.
Yeah, that's who was he avenging? Himself. Oh, okay.
Yeah. The fact that Lou Ferrigno basically went along with this. Yes.
Revenge of the Incredible Hulk. That's where Bill Bixby becomes a professor from Lambda Lambda Chi, right? And then the Hulk has to join the nerds. Revenge of the Incredible Hulk.
Wow.
Look, I'm not going to play it, but I just wanted to bring it. Look at the screenshot.
Oh my god.
Look at the screenshot.
I
think you should play it. I'd play just a snip. Play a snippet.
Yeah, go ahead. We're referencing it, so screw it. Go ahead.
Just a snippet. God. This is terrible.
All right.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me get this out of the way.
Ooh, boom, it's blown up. Then he's falling. This is minute 10, minute 15, minute 17. It's falling slowly.
And they also, it seems like they also gave up on the makeup and his wig.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
And where's he falling from? Space?
I don't know. They had a block out Vancouver in the background.
Dude, you see him bounce on a mattress?
Yeah. What is going on?
Pray for Ferrigno.
Wow,
like, why does he turn back?
Change. That's it. That's all.
If you notice, there are no. That's scary.
Sorry, doing madness.
Sorry.
There are no cool transitions. There is just like, it's Bill Bixby, go to something else, come back, it's the Hulk. Like, that's something I noticed too. Even in the other movies, we got like the arms, we got like the transformation, but it seems like they cut the budget. So it was just like, just fucking get Ferrigno out there and we'll pretend we did the transformation.
It's kind of weak. It's just immensely disappointing. And this is from an age group. 3 guys are on the age where we saw this when we were kids, and we were probably like 10. I'm sure you also like you saw the commercials for this and you were excited to see it, and it happened. And you watched Channel 4 and you were hyped, and you're like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly. I was hyped, and then I was like, no.
No.
Because like I said, Return I thought was very enjoyable, even though I wanted to punch Thor in the face. Daredevil was a pleasant surprise. It was a decent 1980s, fucking 1990s, whatever, TV movie. But then this comes along, and you're just like, wow. Like you said, what they did with the budget, they couldn't. First of all, he looks stupid. His hair, his teeth, his eyes are all like, what the fuck just happened to this guy? And then, like you said, there's no transition. There's no cool ripping. There's no cool, the theme music. It's just like, I'm Banner, I'm Hulk. I'm Hulk, I'm Banner. And that's the end. It's like, what the hell just happened? You tell me that budget? The budget's not even a budget. It's called editing, people. That's all it is.
Yeah. And some of it's got to land on Bixby because he directed this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he did direct it, so you got to kind of give him that.
I like Bill Bixby as an actor. I really like him in this role. But, I don't know how much I trust him as a director. He directed a couple of these, and they're at best fun, and I've never seen him direct anything else. So it's very much like, hey, I am the Incredible Hulk. I am fucking David Banner. Look at me. We're going to do movies. You want me in this movie? I direct. Leonard Nimoy and what's his face? James Kirk pulled the same shit with Star Trek 3 and 4. You want me in your fucking Star Trek movies, I'm going to direct. And just they were a bit better at it than Bixby was, but I think it's the same concept, Oh,
don't know. Shatner did 5, don't forget. Looking for God.
Oh, God, yeah, no, you're right. That's right. Shatner did 5. So I'm going to say that Leonard Nimoy was much better at it. Shatner, I don't know. 5 is terrible.
Finding God in space is terrible? Come on.
Yeah, Cybok, baby. They neck pinch a horse in that movie, guys. But he fucking Spock neck pinches a horse in that movie. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
And Uhura was naked. Don't forget Uhura dancing naked.
That's right, because she danced.
All right, well, as we say goodbye to the Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby, Incredible Hulk, we have to, of course, have the exit music for them. So we will be hitchhiking our way out of here as we wrap up this episode of Granny's Peach Tea. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hulkamania is not over, though. Hulkamania will continue next week.
Hulkamania running wild.
It's still running wild. Join us next week as we'll be talking about Planet Hulk, the animated series that is highly underrated. So I'm pretty jacked up to see that one because I haven't seen that one in a while. We'll be talking about the 6th episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. No more Harley Quinn for the time being. We'll have a new episode of Stargirl to talk about as well. So go check us out next week for that. If you're checking us out on Facebook, though, join the Granny's Peach Tea Facebook group. Also join the Pop Culture Pros Facebook group as well. Go ahead and if you're watching us on YouTube, hit subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. On Twitter, hit subscribe or follow us at Pop Culture Pros as well. And we got a bunch of cool stuff on the network. Tim, you got a pretty big episode of Shooting the Sith coming up tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, doubleheader from myself. We have Shooting the Sith. We will be doing a Rogue One deep dive rewatch to get ready for Andor Wednesday morning. 3 episodes, and followed by the Just Too Sweet show, because wrestling right now is just completely insane. So that's tomorrow night. Doubleheader.
The wrestling. Wrestling. So you can go check that out. If you're into baseball, you can check out the Empire 161 show with me and Lisa. We cover the New York Yankees. There's a lot of big things going on there as well, specifically literally a big thing in Aaron Judge going and chasing down Roger Maris for his record. If you'd like the New York Mets, you can check out the Put It in a Book show with Faraci and Keith and Rodriguez. If you're into the New York Mets, we stomped you out, Tim. Our 2-0 New York Giants. Huh?
I'm shocked.
I am flabbergasted.
I'm shocked.
But it is what it is. So, what are you guys on this week?
That's a good question because I am going to AEW wrestling on Wednesday night. Wow. So I have a feeling Thursday is going to be maybe a doubleheader.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe a triple header because Ashley usually goes on Thursdays too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it might be Thursday. Might be a triple header.
All right. So check out Pop Culture Pros for the potential triple header. And you got A to Z Friday night. You and Eric.
Friday night.
Getting wild.
Getting wacky.
So go ahead and check that out. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.